What I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality.
Hey beautiful people, how you're doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a video of a podcast that has strike a big conversation. So in this podcast, Dr. Omar was there and he was talking to some black men, and then he was talking about how a black woman has to be strong because of the type of black men they have in the black community, and how black women being masculine has to go back, like it falls back on how black men has not been present, have not been able to step up to the plate to take charge of the home like they do in Africa. Anyway, guys, let's go hear this podcast and then we'll come back and talk.
What I also tell black women, if you're going to go get you an African man from the continent, you're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Why the fuck is it tolerated? It's not tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Well, over here, I want to say this to us, though, because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down, or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. Yes, they have a role. Yes, they have responsibility. But as a man, as a leader, to say I can't fix this shit unless she changes, that's not the definition of a man.
I don't see. I think we're on two different accords. Like, I don't think we're saying that. What I'm saying is, I'm capable of being that leader, that provider. I've worked hard in my life. We tell black men that we have to now deal with masculine women with children.
Why is she masculine? Because she's had to raise the kids alone. Not one woman,
so
brother, a whole community.
So you mean to tell me the only woman I can look forward in my life is a masculine woman that has kids by other men?
No.
That's what I have to look forward to?
But I'm telling you, mistakes made by black men systemically gave rise to the conditions that allowed her to be masculine and made her end up with a man that you consider to be less than what he should be.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought about everything they discuss in that podcast. Go down in the comment section and share your thought. Love to know what you think about this. This got a lot of people talking. A lot of people were sharing their 2 cents. And I have a lot to say about this as usual. Let's go hear other people's thoughts on this.
To be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection.
Finally, Dr. Umar is clicking, okay? He's telling these young men the truth. And they still got this mentality that a woman should choose better, but yet have not provided a better selection to choose from. They are well aware that there are no good men in the community. There are men that prey on women. There are men that manipulate women. But yet, when that woman is victimized by those type of men, they still find a way to blame her, but not the men. And when we get self-esteem and we have standards and boundaries, you tell us it's unrealistic. Y'all get on my nerves.
I'll deal with masculine women with children.
Why is she masculine? Because she's had to raise.
The Pookie and the Ray Ray didn't just rob black women of being more feminine and choosing better. The Pookie and the Ray Ray also threatened the livelihood of the good black man. But that is not the problem. The problem is not even white men. The problem is not even the Pookies and the Ray Rays, because the good black men will use Pookie and Ray Ray to psychologically abuse black women. The problem is that black women picked the Pookie and the Ray Ray over the good black man. But the truth of the matter that a lot of black men also fail to realize is that there's Pookie and Ray Ray in every single one. That's why it doesn't matter if he is raised by a 2-parent home or a 1-parent home, whether he was raised in the hood, the church, the mosque. It don't matter. It doesn't matter if he's from the States, from the Caribbean, from the continent. And that's why no matter how good a woman vets, she's still going to have a lot of the same outcomes.
Leader to say I can't fix this shit unless she changes, that's not the definition of it.
When a plane is going down, pilots are usually trying to do everything they can to make sure as many people on that plane survive as possible. They're not worried about their family. They're not worried about their kids. They're just worrying about trying to make sure that they bring as many people home as possible. And if they can be, one of those people, then great. And they will do that up until the plane goes up in flames and unfortunately people don't make it. Now I know some of y'all saying, Chaz, why are you talking about, planes? Because Dr. Umar is right. When he's right, he's kind of right. And in this situation, I'm so sick of seeing these dudes with these big ass mics in front of their face, sitting on these plush, comfortable couches, talking about how horrible women are. But then at the same time, they're calling themselves leaders. Sir, how are you a leader? What are you doing to actually solve anything? Who in your community looks up to you? If we did a deep dive into your life, how many of your ex-girlfriends could say that you were a good man? I'm pretty sure not a lot of them. Outside of your mama, how many people that you know will actually say you are a good man and a good leader who has a vision for people? I would probably say not many. So that's why I use the analogy of a plane, or even the analogy of a company. When something happens at a company, even if the leader had nothing to do with it, the leader has to come out, take responsibility, and ensure the public that, they can believe in them, and then present a vision for the future. If all you want to do is sit on a plush couch with a microphone and bash women, then you're not a leader. There's nothing proactive about that. There's nothing productive about that. Just my little 2 cents. What do I know?
What I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. Okay. We have to.
I understand we got to be patient with our women. I always preach we got to be patient with each other. But there's a fine line between being patient and understanding with a person and then just letting them run all over you and putting up with anything. And that's the point we at with it. We got to throw on our cape and play captain safe. Fight her battles with the world, the one she created before us and the one she create with us, and fight the battle she having within herself. And you can't expect nothing out the deal, or express any type of preferences you have with who you want to go through all that for, or you labeled as the bad guy. And if you're going to say we basically created that problem, so we got to deal with it, why when black women complain about black men, we don't tell them that? Because they're the ones that raised this generation of black men. Like, how does 1 + 1 = 2 in that equation? Like, it ain't making sense.
This to us, though, because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history.
Happy Juneteenth, everyone, and good morning. I just want to touch on this video really quickly. So what's happening in this video is that you have a man that's trying to hold a group of male accountable for the atrocities in the community. What he's trying to do is convert or convince a group of males who are not natural leaders to become leaders and take accountability. Which also proves the point that a lot of us women, specifically black women, have been making for a long time, that black males are just not natural leaders. A natural leader is not going to hold their subjects accountable for the destructions that happen within the household, the unit, or the community. With leadership comes also power, love, and a sound mind, or what we call self-discipline. Most black males in this society don't even have power. And another aspect of leading is leading with love. And most black males don't even have the empathy or the capability to love a woman or anyone else. Most black males don't even have self-discipline. If they are upset or if they don't get their way, then they act out very emotionally, right? Violently towards whoever, is not letting him have his way at the time. They don't even have control over their sexuality, right? So when you look at statistics, it looks like that black males specifically have the highest body counts than any other person, right? So it's black males, and then there's white women, and then there's white males, and then there's black women. They don't want to be responsible for impregnating another woman or impregnating a woman. So we expect these humans, these beings, right, these males who are incapable clearly of leading, and we're expecting them to be held accountable for everything and lead because they have a penis, when all that is ignorant. You're not a leader simply because you have a penis, right? With males, it takes more discipline, right, for them to even have that mindset of a leader, meaning they have to go through extensive training to become that leader. They need structure, and women don't need structure. So when women have boys, we don't imply that structure towards them, because as Priscilla, she said, we don't understand the mindset of a male. So we allow the male to do whatever the hell he wants to do, and it causes destruction. Meanwhile, we're telling them, oh, you need to be the leader simply because he's a man. And that's not how it works.
So and what I also tell black women, if you're going to go get you an African man from the continent, you're going to have to understand.
I tried to watch the interview when Dr. Omar basically held black men accountable. It was refreshing. But one thing he cannot do is basically seem like a lot of African women are docile and submissive, and they let their men lead the household. When I tell you the African women that I encounter from Ghana, Rwanda, and Nigeria, they're not going to take or tolerate that men put up, I'm the man of the house, I'm this, I'm that. They don't do that. But because of their balance of being masculine and being feminine, it works for them. So I don't know, me as a person who has a father who's not from this country, why do you feel like that women in other countries are this and that? Because mind you, you have to think about why they are like that, because of patriarchy and because of capitalism and because of men want to rule over women. Because men who wants to rule over women, they want control of their wombs. That's it. Because if you don't have control of a woman's womb, you have nothing. That's why they keep making these laws and blah, 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 blah. And look at the Asian community, how women was like, I don't want to have any children. We're good. Those men are desperately, literally trying to convince women that being married and having kids is the right thing to do. I think because this is the time of the Aquarius, and the Aquarius sign is awakening. I think and I believe that women are like, no. Story time. I had an African man who looked at my refrigerator. I'm like looking at him like, why my refrigerator? And he was like, he literally realized what I didn't have. So hour later, he literally brought me some fruits and vegetables. He said, you need to eat this, you need to do this, you need to do that. One thing I'm not going to do is put African men on the pedestal, but the ones I encounter, they're family oriented. They really are.
Held accountable for their poor selection?
No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection.
The reason conversations like this will never really go nowhere is because it's basically telling men of character, men that put in the work to deal with women because of all of the trauma and all the pain and all they went through, when in reality, we put in the work so we don't have to deal with those type of women. You feel me? Like, at the end of the day, those women made a conscious decision to deal with these deadbeat, low-life type of dudes, right? Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So the disconnect is good men that have put in the work to become somebody don't feel like we are obligated to deal with women that aren't equal to us. You feel me?
Sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for.
So this right here is actually a huge talking point. Like something I've been experiencing lately since I've just like been in the hood because I'm from the suburbs, right? So like when it comes to like initial attraction, a lot of black women basically talk to black men like they're dogs. And low key, like when we were younger, we kind of like that because we wanna prove them wrong. We wanna show our masculinity and put them in their feminine or whatever it is. But mostly it's because like you're flirting with each other and that's all it is. And like for a lot of them, that literally works when it comes to them to getting partners and everything like this. I was even talking to my auntie before, like especially after being in the hood and actually like hearing what they'd have to deal with. I realized that like they actually straight up don't have good options to choose from. But even then, even when I do meet black women that are like African American black women that are feminine and very kind of very soft spoken, at a certain point it's like they don't know how to interact because they're used to dealing with a certain type of guy and they're used to dealing with like I guess being the leaders and teaching them about like all these high alkaline, high frequency, all this other stuff like that. They're so used to teaching that when they meet someone that already knows that stuff, they're kind of just like almost afraid to make conversation with me, it feels like. And even then, because we both have a history of being neglected and being abused, part of us still like being attracted to that type of quality, like being dismissed, being talked down to. A lot of black women in America still suffer from these traits. And so being patient with each other is definitely like one thing that everybody has to do when it comes to healing. But in my cases, I'm used to like all the other races, Filipino, like Asian, Latina, like I'm used to them like being feminine and kind to me. So it's just like I have expectations of how I need to be treated and how I need to be talked to, but black women really don't have a good reference point. And I'm emphasizing this a lot. They really, really don't. But personally, I feel like I'm doing my part, like at least in my individual lifestyle with the people that I've been meeting. So good for me, right? But in the large scheme of things, if you're a black man and you've already been healed and you are like coming out of this toxicity, then you got to start sitting down and talking with some of these women because like, yeah, it's Juneteenth. Like we got to do our part, guys.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought down in the comment section. Love to read from you guys. So go down and share your thought. But please, please, please do it respectfully. You don't have to disrespect anybody for you to air your opinion. So let's be respectful down in the comment section like we always do. We're a family here. We're allowed to disagree. So here's my thought on this. First off, I want to say that I kind of agree with Dr. Omar on him saying that black women are the reflection of what the black community is, because a lot of time the black man is not present, either they are not being responsible to be there or they are in jail. But either way, black women had to step up to be in that place, especially for their children and their family. And this has helped black women to pass on the vibe of being masculine. And even when other men choose to come to their life, there's always this guard up for a black woman to, like, you know what, I have to be protective of myself, I have to protect myself, I have to protect my family, because these men are never there, they always let us down. So I agree with that. But him also saying that, oh, probably they should come to Africa and get a African man, I just feel like that's a bigger conversation. I feel like that's even a different conversation, because if some of you guys don't know, I am in Nigeria and I live in the continent. I live in Nigeria. I live in Africa. So I think I can say things about Africa, especially Nigerian men. There is this notion and ideology that goes around saying that, oh, African women are very submissive to their husband are in charge, they provide for you 100%. I feel like this is kind of relatively individual. Yes, the African structure is centered around a man being a man and providing for his family, but there's also like backhand implication that comes with this. Most times when this man provides for their family, the woman is usually left with financial abuse. That's most times the women can't go anywhere. Even when the men treat them horribly, they stay in that marriage, they stay in that relationship because they are not financially stable, and they don't even know how to navigate life without the men in their life. So they rather just stay there and just deal with it. A lot of our mothers and aunties were being mistreated, being married, either verbally, mentally, financially, emotionally, but they could not take that bold step because, to some extent, the way the African culture or structure is set up to leave the woman handicapped so that the woman depends on the man. And I feel like that's where a lot of young African women now are looking up to, like, you know what, they want to be independent like the African American women. They want to be able to call the shot. And if you look at African women that have, when I would say Nigerian women that have their own money, there's also that level of respect, especially with this new generation. There's also this level of respect that the men now kind of have, that some of those abuse have kind of really settled down. And I also feel like this has also raised to the increase of high divorce rate in Nigeria. I'll speak of Nigeria, the high divorce rate in Nigeria, because these men are raised to see their father, their uncle, kind of take charge and be empowered and do women whatever they seem as normal. Like, some of those abuse are seen very, very normal. Like, why would you even talk back to your husband in the first place? Even when you take them to the police, everybody will blame you, the woman. Even till now, anything goes wrong in the house, it's been blamed on a woman. And now a lot of African men are seeing African women step up to the plate, like having their own money, giving themselves that opportunity for them to say if they want to stay in that marriage or if they want to walk away. And a lot of African men don't really get it. Yes, they like the charge. I will tell you, African men, is their pride for them to take care of their family. But at the same time, that they want to take care of their family, they also need you to be their mumu. Anyway, guys, let me know your thought about this down in the comment section. I love to know what you think about this. So go down in the comment section and share your thought. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have amazing conversations. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because why not? Why won't you subscribe? Okay. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Smash the like button, because that helps YouTube to push up my content. When you comment, give the video a like, even share this video, even subscribe, that helps the algorithm to push out my video to more people, and that will be you supporting your girl. So please go ahead and do all that. With that all said, guys, I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.